Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do the beer stuff here. A little bit of aged beer, good beer. It's not necessarily classics level, even though it has classics vibes. Firestone Walker. 25 anniversary ale. This is 2021 vintage. I believe last year I actually did the 2020 vintage of this, and I'm pretty sure I loved it because, honestly, you know, you talk about, like, barrel programs, Mount Rushmore, just in general in the United States, there's some breweries whose, I mean, outside of, like, boutique-y breweries, side projects, stuff like that, barrel-aged programs in the United States, you know, Firestone Walker, Central Waters, the brewery probably. I personally would put Rushing Duck, Cane Brewing maybe on there, just regionally. There's some really, really good barrel-aged programs out there that are just consistently churn out winners. Hopefully that is still the case here at 25th anniversary edition. So they were established in 1996. This is a 2021 vintage anniversary ale. On the back here we have story time. It says, in the fall of 2006, brewer Matt Brindleson asked a handful of winemaker friends for their input on blending a diverse stash of barrel-aged strong ales. Together they came up with 10. A trailblazing beer commemorating our 10th anniversary, and so began an annual autumn rite that now continues their 25th year. This year was different, however, where our brewers convened with their winemaker friends on July 15th, 2021. It marked a return to in-person blending after conducting it all remotely in previous year. The significance of this moment was not lost on anyone and was made with the more special by the occasion of our 25th anniversary. The beer you're holding in your hands, 25, was created on that day. It is a work of talent and togetherness that we are now privileged to share with you. Thank you for being part of our journey as we conclude this milestone year for Firestone Walker. Enjoy this beer now or celebrate cool, dark place for 45 to 55 degrees. Allow it to warm up in the glass when serving. Here we go. They always put them in the boxes. I like the boxes. I like the pomp. I like the circumstance. Now, if they didn't put these in the boxes and they were cheaper, that would be nice. That is the beer, as I punch the microphone. And they give you this big, long, drawn-out decree, like I feel like a what is that kid that sat in the town crier kind of thing. This actually gives you decent information. There's, I mean, a ton of stuff on this side. That just goes a note from Matt Brindleson talking about, you know, the brewer and everything about it. I'm just going to go over the basics of this beer. That way this video isn't 45 minutes long. The final blend of this beer is Parabola at 41%. So we're stout level. Sticky Monkey, which is a quad in bourbon barrels, 10%. Tequila Barrel Merkin, okay, at 28%. Brandy Barrel Barley Wine, aged in brandy barrels, 13%, and whiskey barrel aged wheat wine at 8%. Yeah. I think that's all I'm going to read off here. That's, you know, I appreciate this. I appreciate this. I appreciate all of it. This is only $9 or $10. Only. It's a $40 4-pack. If I didn't get this or this, let's put it this way. If I didn't get this or this, and this was $7, or I didn't get this and this, and it assured me that this blend in brewery and anniversary ale will exist for the next 50 years, I'll take that. I'll take that. I'm not hating on the box and the pomp, but yeah. Anniversary ale, not much else on here. Stored 45 degrees, keep longer. I don't think it's that cold. Yeah, we're just diving in a sucker. We'll see where the sucker lands. Aggressive pull on my end. Aggressive. I'll give it a hard pour. Let's give it a hard pour for the anniversaries of the things and the stuff. Give it a little bottle saver on there. Label wise, I've always dug on what Firestone Walker does. I very much put them in kind of like a Scotch kind of European liquor kind of vibe on our bottles, and I can dig on it. As far as the beer goes, it definitely looks a part of an anniversary ale, whatever that means. If you talk about that blend, we're going heavy on Parabola, heavy on Stout, a bit of a quad, darker beers, barrel-aged beers. It looks a part of that. Malt ball colored, had maybe a skosh below that. This beautiful head on it. I mean, you're talking about a blended barrel-aged beer coming off with that kind of head on it. It's so sturdy and just hefty. Kind of really dig on it. It has just this rich darkness to it that is definitely... It's brown, but the darkest brown of all the browns. It's not black, so we're off to a good start. It's good nose. It's the goods. It's the goods. I mean, broken record time. We want that. You know, sugar daddy leaning into raisinets. That's what we're looking for in these barrel-aged beers. These barrel-aged blended pseudo-Solera method kind of anniversary ales that we get from whether it be, you know, them or all the barrel programs that I kind of mentioned at the get. We're looking for that, and we're definitely getting that here. We have a little bit of spirit hotness to it. Not going to hate on it. We're talking about an ABV level of 12%, so it's not over to, no, 12 fluid ounces, 11.5%. So it's not a big beer, but you get a little bit of the heat to it, a little bit pop of heat. Don't hate on that. It's really kind of showing you're drinking something relatively big. But it is that kind of adulty, sugar daddy, raisinettiness. The flirting with that. It's not necessarily there, at least aromatically, that you're looking for on there. So, you know, you're talking about your prunes, your dates, your grapes, your figs. You're talking about burnt brown sugars. You're talking about all those kind of like really decadent, kind of delectable, kind of dessertiness on top of this more tempered plate of beer. That is just this spirit, this barrel char, this vanilla, this coconut, in a barrel char kind of way, not necessarily like a dessert on dessert kind of thing. I gotta taste it. It's really gonna. That's the thing. That's the thing that's gonna seal the deal here. So let's dive in. Cheers, all. I like it. It lacks a little bit of wow factor for me, especially when it comes to like the Firestone Walker tradition of these ales. And I will pinpoint this to a specific thing. This is me. This is me talking about this beer. The thing that I read on here, I didn't know it existed until I read this live when I was talking to y'all. 28% tequila barrel Merkin. It's very tequila barrel forward. I don't hate tequila barrel beers, but I don't know if it works perfectly in this blend. Listen, you know, Matt Brindleson is Beer Jesus. The winemakers that he brings together, the people he brings together to blend this beer are infinitely more qualified from both a taste and knowledge level than I would ever hope to be. So I talk about what I like about when it comes to these kind of beers. And I think it's absolutely delicious. I think it's just heavy on not just the tequila portion of the show, which it is. I think Merkin, which I dig on, but it's, you know, when you hold it up to the Parabolas and Sucabas and those kind of beers of the world, I think it's a little bit of a dainty beer. At least it's like basically like a oatmeal / export stout kind of vibe. So I think it has a little bit of vulnerability to it. I think it has a little bit of kind of, you know, it can be overpowered by other entities. So the best way I could describe this, and again, it's a very tasty beer. This is just me talking purely like what I would change about it. So I think the best way I can describe this is if you were to take all these ingredients, or mixtures, or whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So imagine having a vessel that you would blow up. Airbed, air mattress. There we go. That's probably the best way I can describe it. And there's 5 chambers. okay, in an air mattress. I think, you know, most people can relate to this, at least people that don't have a ton of money. And you inflated all those chambers. That's how air mattresses work. It's not a big pillow or a big balloon. You sit on their individualized chambers. And the flaw of an air mattress is one of those chambers leaks, or one of those chambers doesn't hold air or doesn't fill up, and then it gets lumpy and weird and lopsided. That's where this beer comes from me. It's like all the chambers were filled, and just that Merkin tequila just lost all its pressure, and so there's a void in the beer for me that acts as kind of like not a stumbling point or a overt negative. It's just something missing in a beer. There's something inherently missing in a beer, and it's this kind of chutzpah wow factor that you typically get on a lot of anniversary beers, Firestone Walker included. I feel like it's just missing a little bbit of just, you know, it's just lacking that something about it. So mouth feels nice, nothing crazy. A little bit of kind of like herbaceous bittering on the back end. Again, that's where that tequila thing kind of comes in for me. So that's where tequila kind of hits for me. So it's kind of like a little bit too loud as the initial flavor. Malt's nice. All the beer portion of the show, the roasted malts from Parabola and all the bits and parts from the quad and all those bits and parts of the beer, you get this beer portion of the show. It's no way not a beer. And hopefully that comes off as like no shit Sherlock stuff, but also, you know, a lot of beers don't taste like beer nowadays. They taste like candy bars masquerading as beer. This is definitely a beer on beer on beer. You know, the sweetness isn't over the top. The spirit barrel of all these kind of meld together quite well. Again, that tequila barrel just being the kind of outlier for me. And just ends up being a nice mouthfeel that could have been better. A nice sweetness that could have been better. A nice kind of charriness from the barrels that could have been better. And a nice spirit level that if that tequila was a little bit tempered, I think would be a little bit better. Again, we're kind of doing the ultimate like picks of the nits at this point. If I sit here and burp all the time, so I have to pause, but also go like Mount Rushmore level on this, it's very close to being towards the top of this, if not worthy of being on there. It's still a very good beer. I just know it could be absolutely more fantastical, and I personally believe it is the Merkin tequila portion of the show that's kind of letting us down here. It's the uninflated bladder of the air mattress that is the 21st anniversary. 25th, sorry. That's a weird analogy, but you know how I roll. Anyway, let's give a sip and wrap this up. I still like it, though. Still fun beer. Glad I picked it up. Especially price point sub $10 for their anniversary stuff. I'll always pick it up, especially with all the bits and bobbles you get with it. This is one of the better barrel-aged beers I've had as of late. Yeah, but not Mount Rushmore status. There's a date on here. I just want to give it to you, the actual date. 9/14/21 is one of those bottles. Valued availability, sub $10 off the shelf, and leave you with, if you like what we like this, if you like barrel-aged beer and you're a fan of tequila and milk stouts, I think this is your wheelhouse. Otherwise, I think you'll still really enjoy it. Just missing a little something for me. There you go. Firestone Walker. Have you been to the brewery? Have you had their beers? Have you had this beer? That's what I really want to talk about here. Obviously down there. Kerbal. Have you been to their beer festival? The Invitational, man. That's like Mount Rushmore bucket list stuff for me. I really need to get there. Hopefully you can charm me into that with comments down below. Hopefully you enjoyed the review. Hopefully you enjoyed a little bit of barrel-aged beer right now. Hopefully see you next time. Cheers, all.